Don't be fooled by what you see. Trust the vision. We're going to get into it. Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. Don't fall for what you're seeing right now, believing that what you have been shown would never happen. I know the road is hard. It's been dark. It's been heavy. Job was also in confusion, feeling like he had disobeyed God somewhere. His friends said he must have taken a wrong turn. But understand, God is leading you somewhere powerful. Don't give up right before the breakthrough. I was speaking with a family member the other day, and I was explaining to her how it seems like every day there is a new challenge. And in between the challenge, I find peace. It's been the hardest month of my life. And when I mean hard, I mean the busiest. And I am mentally and physically exhausted. It's been a lot less sleep. It's been a lot of sweat. It's been downright hard work. And as I was explaining to my family where I'm at in this season, she said something that reminded me to the way Job's friends spoke to him. She said, God doesn't make things hard. She said, it should all be easy. And immediately I said to her, clearly you do not know how God works. God will absolutely bring adversity only because the destination must outweigh the seed of adversity. The adversity is where he grows us. But his promises is that that blessing will far outweigh it. It wasn't easy when Joseph was thrown underneath the jail. It wasn't easy when Job was stripped of his wealth, his livestock, his family. It wasn't easy when Moses had to go into Egypt to help free the Israelites. None of that was easy. But God strengthened them within the adversity. Now, if I didn't know myself, and I'll say it differently, if I didn't know my God, I might have fallen for what that family member said. This is a family member who's in church every Sunday, and I mean literally every Sunday. And I was thinking to myself, wow, you're in church every Sunday, and yeah, you're not listening to nothing. Clearly, you're not letting anything penetrate your spirit, or very little, I'll say. Because if you find yourself living in comfort all the time, you are lukewarm for God. You're not doing much for God. You're on the fence. Those who understand how God operates understand he is going to bring those dark nights. Absolutely, he will. Can we look to those in the Bible on how God used their dark nights to catapult them into the victory for God's grace, for God's will, for God's work. No, God never said it's going to be easy. He said it's going to be possible. He said he's never going to leave us. He says that he will be victorious. And as he's living in us, as we're doing God's work, then we can be assured we will be victorious as well. No, God is not going to make it easy. If it's easy, there's little growth. If it's easy, everybody would have the victory. But the reality is, most people are like my beloved family member who told me, quote unquote, this is her words, I don't know. Everything is easy and comfortable in my life. I don't see how God makes it hard for you. Here's the thing. It is true. When we're living according to God, I don't really like the word hard because it's true. When we're doing his work, even though it's hard, it's work that we love. Even though we're going through adversity, he cushions the blow, the sting of adversity when we are trusting him, when we have our eyes on him. So yes, I did kind of understand what she was saying, but this is not what she was saying. She was saying that life should just be comfortable all the time. No, it should not be. God operates in the complete opposite. God will bring you to that mountain so that you rely on him to climb it. God will bring you the illness so that you trust in him to heal you. God will bring you pain so that you lean on him to combat the suffering. That is how God works. If everything is easy and comfortable, where is God working out in your life? Where is he showing you his strength? Where are you giving him room to perform his miracles? Life should never be comfortable. If it's comfortable, you have stopped growing, friend. Look to the way he worked in the Bible. Look to how he used Ruth, David, Abraham, everyone in the Bible. All the stories in the Bible were there to encourage us, to show us how God works, and to encourage us in the very season we find ourselves in. When we're doing God's work, it's absolute truth. You will be met with challenges. You will be met with adversity because, of course, that unclean spirit, that enemy has got to come against you. It's just, that's it. He's got to come against you because you are trying to leave his side for the other side. Yes, God wants your soul, but so does the devil. So adversity is going to come. But can you trust in God? Can you remain graceful when those adversities come? This woman actually also called me greedy. It's crazy that she called me greedy. I was explaining to her, like I was explaining to you, my beautiful love letter community, how God has been bringing the resources for me to travel in the next few weeks, for the next couple months. And even though he's bringing those resources, I got to work for them. He's bringing me the opportunities, the open doors by way of him funding the trip, but I got to do the work. Right. And so I'm doing the work. And as I'm doing the work, I am booked and busy. And so this is what I was explaining to her. I was saying, I'm exhausted. I'm getting little sleep. I'm losing my voice. I am booked and busy. And she actually called me greedy. She said, God doesn't worry about your greed, or God doesn't operate in greed. You're greedy. You're being greedy. You shouldn't be taking all this work. And I was stunned. Again, this is a woman in church every Sunday. This is why I'm keeping it real. I don't be in church like that. No judgment. This is probably going to be a little judgmental, but those people who be in church every Sunday, in my opinion, a fraction of them are really following God. You're just in church every Sunday to say you in church every Sunday. But your heart is unchanged. Now, again, I'm not blanketing everyone. But I'll just say, I don't need to go and fellowship. In my opinion, I know God is saying, yes, you do. In my opinion, I don't need to be in church every Sunday. I can have church right here at home, right here on the Ultimate Love Letter, right here in the comfort of my bed with God. Yes, I am absolutely growing a community, and I'm seeking other people who I will say are believers, but not only believers, but are actual followers of the Most High. Those are my people, not necessarily the ones who are filling the pews Sunday morning in church. This is a woman, sings in the choir in church every Sunday, and she actually told me I was being greedy. Being greedy by taking the very opportunities that God is giving me to fund where He is asking me to go. Greed. And I give the slow blink to her, because how is that greed? That is provision. That is me living in alignment with God. That is me doing God's work. I'm not out here being misaligned. I'm not out here doing things God has asked me not to do. I'm simply saying yes to the opportunities He's bringing me with grace. And yes, it is exhausting, but I see where God is providing the provision, because without the work, I can't see where the provision would come. But this is God saying, here is the provision. It's going to take work. You are going to be exhausted, but I am opening these doors for you. Those who do not understand how God works needs to get clearly into their prayer closet with God. Sit with God, get in meditation, get in prayer, but finally shut your mouth and listen to the divine speak, so that He can show you what He has for you, so that He can begin to speak to you on the way He works. This is if you refuse to get into the Bible to see the way God works. And there's no shame, because I actually grew my faith and grew my relationship with God and understanding how God works by simply sitting at home in the living room, in meditation, in prayer, in tears, communion with God, communing with God. I didn't necessarily get to know God first by reading my Bible. No, I got to know God first by trusting Him in adversity. That's how I grew my faith. That's how I grew my relationship. That's how we grew to the Ultimate Love Letter. It was through the challenges. It was through the ups and downs. It was through the tears. It was through the pain. It was through the sweat. It was through testing God, right? As He tests us, I'm testing Him on His word to bring me through. And as I tested God, and that's a whole nother word, that's going to be our next combo. As I tested God, God came through just like He said He would. That's what grew my faith. So if I didn't know God, if I didn't know myself, I might have believed when this family member said, you might have took a wrong turn, Joe. You might be disobeying God here, Joe. You might be living in greed, Joe. I might have just fallen for it. But I cannot unsee the vision that God has shown me based on what I'm seeing in my reality. Because honestly, what I'm seeing in my reality, I'm seeing something far deeper, in like a 5D. I'm seeing the peace in my life. I'm feeling the push of the wind on my back, as if God is like beckoning me forward, telling me to keep going. I'm listening to the birds sing in the morning, and I hear God announcing a new day, but a new day in my life, as in a new level, as in new provision. I'm watching how the trees sway, but then I'm also watching how they grow still as I'm growing still when I'm sitting down to spend time with God. So no matter what it looks like on the surface, I am seeing beyond the surface, if you will. I am seeing in the elements the way that God is moving, the whispers in nature that are confirmation from our God. That is what you get. Those are the rewards of getting to know God. Don't fall for what you see in reality. Believe in the vision that God is showing. God speaks to us in dreams. God speaks to you when you're out walking and he shows you glimpses of what your life will look like. But then you zoom back in and you see what your life looks like today. Don't fall for the nonsense of today, of what you're seeing happening right now. God is showing you what he has for you when you tap in with him. Believe the visions. Joseph got visions and every single one came to pass. Don't fall for it. God is real. He's realer than your mother, than your father, than your kids, than your husband, than your wife. God is closer than your mother, than your father, than your kids, than your husband, than your wife. Whatever he has shown you, believe it will come to pass. It absolutely will when we align ourselves with his will over our life. And aligning ourselves with his will doesn't mean we're giving up on our desires. In reality, our desires are from God. That passion, those things that we want to do, those are from the Most High. But the only way to achieve them is we're going to have to go where God says go. We're going to have to let go of all the things God says to let go of. For God's sake, trust him. Trust the visions you see. Let go of whatever he has for you to let go of. Don't look back and don't let anyone knock you off your path. You are headed for greatness. They can't see the vision God has shown, but you can. Keep going. Thank you so much for joining this combo. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again real soon. Bye for now.